Earlier this week, I headed down to the Excel Centre in London for the launch party of Triumph's brand new 2019 1200 Scrambler. After a bit of introduction to the history of Triumph and Scramblers, the two new models were announced: the road-orientated 1200 Scrambler XC and the off-road biased XE, with the E apparently standing for Extreme. There's been loads of leaked photos of the bike this week, especially on Instagram, but when you see them in the flesh, they look awesome. The 21-inch front wheel, aluminium mudguards, LED headlight, seamless tanks, high-level pipes and beefy swing arm all combine to make a really mean-looking, rugged, big bike. One thing that really surprised me though was just how much technology was crammed in behind that retro styling. I assume a lot of this was carried over from the Tiger range, but you've got a TFT display, backlit controls, 6 riding modes, cornering, ABS and traction control, and keyless ignition. You can also pair the bike over Bluetooth with your phone to take calls or use Google Maps, and you can even connect a GoPro and control it from the controls on the bars, so that's a moto vlogger's dream. Both bikes have the 1200cc 89 horsepower motor derived from the Thruxton R, and they've both got Öhlins shocks, Showa forks and twin Brembo monoblock brakes up front. So the Scrambler is meant to be a legitimate off-road performer, especially the XE model with more travel in the suspension, bigger forks, a steeper head tube angle and a longer swing arm. In fact, Triumph are so confident about it that they announced that Ernie Vigil would be racing the bike at the Baja 1000 next year. And they were obviously keen to demonstrate the off-road ability on the night with a knockout race between a bunch of riders on a small indoor track that they built for the event. It was so busy there and I couldn't really get near it, so I had to settle for watching on the big screen or a little screen. Anyway, I really wanted to see the bike in a bit more detail up close, so I set off in search of one. Triumph had a whole bunch of their other bikes on display, like this custom Scrambler based on an air-cooled Bonneville, a flat tracker that looks like it belonged to Carl Fogarty, a T100 with its mirrors pointing forward, a Thruxton R with a supercharger and a really ugly fairing and tailpiece, a stock Speedmaster, stock Bobber, Thruxton R, another T100 with its mirrors pointing forward, and a couple of custom bobbers. And then finally, the 1200 Scrambler XC. I particularly like the seat and tank colour combo on this bike, and up close you can see some of the details such as the beautifully sculpted alloy swing arm, the big front wheel with Brembo calipers, the seamless tank, the LED light and those high level pipes, although I'm not sure about this huge heat shield. I guess it houses the catalyzer and a lot of people will swap it out for something like the aftermarket Arrow option. After admiring the XC for a while, I hit the bar, got some food and took some time to admire the level of Triumph branding on display. Giant Triumph logos, a Triumph truck, a Triumph DJ, a Triumph shop where you could buy a Triumph hat, a Triumph check shirt or a Triumph jumper. But at least from the balcony I could see the racing, or some of it anyway. As with most new bikes nowadays, Triumph also announced a huge range of accessories for the Scrambler. One of the display bikes was kitted out with some of these, like the extra lights, a fly screen, handguards, a rack and soft luggage. But as the night was drawing to a close, I was really keen to get a sit on the bike and get a feel for it. So I wanted back to the other display bike and I was straight up refused. I guess 6,000 YouTube subscribers doesn't quite cut it as a VIP. so I had to ride the escalator instead.